here we go on the opening bell. We got a $2 wide and ask on a 610 call on Google. 880 by 1040. It was $2 wide. On the $600 call, we've got $2 right here between the bid and the ask. So basically, we got a huge gap down on the opening bell this morning. But one of the things that I want to point out for Mr. Regulator is that you're not regulating the market, because the investors are being screwed between these bid and ask, and they do not know how to deal with these markets. One of the things that we want to show is the relativeness to the price movement of $2.209, and that any option on any name will never create that wide a bid and ask with that kind of gap down ratio. So you have a 615, he pops it up. Now they're going to inline this at $1. They were $2 on the open. This is narrowing. So we're going to see, based on the movement, and this is why the derivative market or options market around the country at different various exchanges are very scandalous these days. So you can see how they're trying to tighten that up to make a market here, and you can see how they're trying to tighten this one here. So we're going to be watching with the big gap down. We're going to be taking a look that a $2.43 movement does not create that wide bid and ask like that. So from an intraday level, what we're going to be looking at is how we can get in at the lower end of the market. So we will be putting those bids down below the floor. So we'll start these at about 13.5, and we'll start these here at about 660. And so I need an alarm set on the $600 call at around 1350. I also need another alarm set, let's say at around that 1470 handle. I need this one set here at 770, 720, and 6.5. And as the name itself, we're starting to get where the bids are lined in the option market. But when they go down further, what's going to end up happening, MMTs, is this side of the market disappears. This side sells down below her. And there's that bid at 7.5 down there, 1570, 1650. The thing that we like is that what I must show everyone is the big gap down in the Dow, the NASDAQ 100, and the comp. Now, granted, we've only been open for 3 minutes. And what we're looking for is that Cisco news has created this big tech gap down, okay? And the markets are all overbought, and we understand that. We've been talking about that. So basically, we're going to see where 75,000 shares traded on Google, but the kind of havoc that the retail option trader has to go through, and even the so-called high-line professionals are having a very difficult problem because they don't even know what's going on. So therefore, that's the opening. There we have the Grand Canyon between the buyer and the seller here, with very little movement here on very, very, very low volume. And so when you have the lowest volume on the opening bell, that's when you get these very wide bid and ask spread in the options market. Now, this is a 610 put that they have stolen a lot of premium out of, up 80 cents. The thing about it was it closed at 440, the low is 450, and the high, and the spread between here is nothing. So we're going to monitor it on the opening bell because there's a long ways to go to be able to get these entries and square around on those trades. So that's what it looks like. And we're tightening up here, and we're tightening up here, and we're down $1.69 at 81,000 shares. You can see the buyers coming in on Google at $18 million money floor in the opening bell on 86,000 shares. So we're going to look at how we can trim that market. Okay, the close was 18.12 on the $600 call. 16.40 is what I talked about yesterday. 16 being the low. Wide bid and ask. Okay, wide bid and ask. And MMTs, when I give out the prices, naturally you got to go below the floor at the lower level. So we're going to populate our option brain that tells us exactly where they're still in that premium. Here he comes, right off of that bottom, right here, only down 96 pennies. And that's given that support level, but barely off the low here of 80 pennies off of that low, because that's the ask. This is what people are willing to pay. And that's the opening bell on the options trade.